I'm amazed that this complete fake has achieved such success, that somebody can go. And somebody who, as Alan rightly says, loves the European Union, the words European Union run through him as they run through a stick of rock. A man who a couple of years ago made a speech saying the European Union should be extended to the Ural Mountains. This person, who is actually probably one of the most pro-EU politicians in the country, has managed to pose successfully to anybody in this country as an opponent of Brussels, is a tribute either to the amazing powers of spin of the Conservative Party or the extraordinary gullibility of members of the population. I just can't understand how anyone can swallow it. He got into this position by accident. He was wrongly briefed by somebody who told him that he could have an easy victory against Juncker because they thought that Angela Merkel was against it. When it turned out she wasn't, he then decided to do a huge reverse ferret. And instead of being the great victor who'd got rid of Jean-Claude Juncker, he would be the lone opponent of Jean-Claude Juncker, along with the Hungarians. And this is all completely stage managed. It has no content at all. David Cameron, if it ever came to a referendum, one of the many post-dated cheques that he's signed, which he almost certainly won't ever have to honour, if it ever came to a referendum on the European Union, would without doubt urge everybody to vote to stay in it. He has no intention of taking this country out of the European Union. His whole stand against the European Union is phony. People the supposed Eurosceptics in the Conservative Party. What does it mean, Eurosceptic? What is there to doubt? The European Union exists. Either you're in favour of leaving it or you're in favour of staying in it. David Cameron's in favour of staying in it. I don't know what Mr. Jenkins is in favour of, because at the moment he's able to avoid the question thanks to his performance. But the Conservative Party in general is and always has been the most pro-Brussels party in the country. And for it to pretend to be otherwise is an act of extraordinary dishonesty, and for anyone to believe it is an act of extraordinary gullibility.
All right. Thank you.
This is a myth. The whole idea of renegotiation is a complete fantasy, just as the idea there was any alternative to Jean-Claude Juncker. If it hadn't been Jean-Claude Juncker, the EU keeps cupboards full of men in grey suits, exactly like him, dozens of them, and there would have been another one available to complain that a European Union official is a federalist. It's like complaining that a bicycle has handlebars. That's what they are. That's what they're like. There is no renegotiation. The European Union has been, since it began, and it has in its initial treaty, the Treaty of Rome, a clause calling for ever closer union, which means the abolition of our national power. Now, Mr. Jenkins here poses as a great opponent of the European Union. I'm going to ask him if he's so opposed to it, and all the other members of Parliament here, what they're doing about the fact that the European arrest warrant, which we have actually uniquely got the chance to get out of, an outrageous interference with our independence, which allows a magistrate somewhere in Europe to issue a warrant against somebody in this country, which we then have to execute. We could, if we wished to, now opt out of that. By a unique anomaly of the European Union, we can opt out of it. They're not going to opt out of it given the opportunity. Why is that? Why are you not going to opt out of it?
I am completely at one with you. I'm going to vote against this. I think it's absolutely mad. We stood on a platform in the European elections saying we were going to take back power over justice and home affairs, and it's completely bonkers for us to contemplate.
And what are the Tory whips going to do about it?
It also enables us to catch criminals and when they've fled to other countries in Europe.
There are 170 countries outside the European Union that have extradition agreements with European countries.
All right, you
don't have to be in the European Union to get an extradition warrant.
You
didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.